Hello, dear viewers. It's time for another death battle reaction. Simone the Digger versus Kyle Rayner, Green Lantern, White Lantern, what have you. Uh, Always check out the original content before you see anything of mine. Like, share, subscribe to Death Battle. And then, if you could do that with my content, that would be really, really appreciated. I would like to get some more followers so that or some more subscribers. So if I, when I do make more original content, I know I'd have an audience. But as for this matchup, I'm much more of a Kyle Rayner fan. He's personally my favorite Green Lantern. And yes, I am wearing green, and it kind of fits because this is my work uniform. And well, represent, green, wear green for the Green Lantern. I guess I could have gone with white, but when in Rome, I'm already wearing green, so why not? But as for this fight, I really don't know how this will go, because I don't know much about Simon, or however you pronounce his name. But I do know that the Green Lantern Corps are stupidly powerful, and we have seen not Kyle Rayner, but Hal Jordan in Death Battle previously. So this will be another matchup featuring the same Green Lantern Corps. Teddy B here is excited. Say hello, Teddy B. I missed it you too. I know the theme behind this matchup, and this has been a very requested matchup for a while now. The theme being both combatants get their power based off of will, but I understand that Simon, all I know about him is like he has like some mech suit, and there's a giant drill somewhere, and for Kyle, who I'm only vaguely more familiar with, he's a comic book artist, and that's one of the reasons why I respect him as a character. I think what makes him a Green Lantern, and his thought process, what he generates with his lantern energy, is way more interesting than like John Stewart or Hal Jordan or Guy Gardner. But enough talking. I'm very curious as to see who wins this. I'm, like I said, hoping Kyle Rayner wins, but we'll see. I always do enjoy seeing and being introduced to new characters and new franchises, and if this is something that you dear viewers think I might enjoy, let me know. And also, if you can think of anything you'd like me to react to, please let me know. Give me like some suggestions of stuff you'd like me to check out and give my opinion on. And I'll try and do my best to give more of an analysis to the matchup in the breakdown. I imagine there's going to be a lot to be discussed here.
Simone the Digger.
Simone.
Kyle Rayner, the White Lantern.
Two men born of Earth with the willpower to pierce the heavens and conquer
Yep.
infinity.
Will.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. Deep underground, Jiha Village lived in dreary isolation, oblivious to the wider world above their squalid cave.
That's where the hero of our story comes in. The
So we're
young
talking
man
about
who would
Simone.
lead
Ooh.
his comrades into the
Nice.
sunlight at last. Kamina, the great and mighty. Oh, and his little brother from another mother, Simone. He was there too, I guess.
Simone was a digger, content to drill endlessly through the dirt, until the day he found the core drill.
The key that activated the mysterious buried mech that Kamina named Lagan. Under his
Lagan.
magnificently masculine leadership, Kamina finally drilled their way to freedom, seeing the sun after a life in the dark.
But the sky was by no means the limit. The surface was ruled by the cruel chimeric beastmen, and Kamina would lead his compatriots against them to reclaim the Earth for humanity, scoring a second mech in the process, aptly named Gurren.
And as
Gurren.
befits Kamina and Simon's unbreakable
I do like the
brotherly
animation
bond,
style.
Gurren and Lagan merged, creating Gurren Lagan.
With Kamina piloting the body and Simon the head, these two were unstoppable.
Of all the giant fighting robots in all the animes across history, Gurren Lagann might just be the absolute coolest, fueled by its pilot's willpower and capable of making
So that's the
any
matchup.
weapon they can imagine.
Including missiles, a jetpack, a sunglasses boomerang, and of course,
Drills! Wrist-mounted drills, kunai drills, shield drills, kamehameha drills. And
That's one way to
everyone's
drill it
favorite,
into ya,
the
huh?
Drill-Reku. Side note, it is so funny that the only thing they could think of was drills. That's
Well,
like
maybe that's
I
all
made
because that's
food
all
or
they really
something
knew.
My whole personality.
with Gurren Lagann's awesome power, Kamina laid waste to enemy forces, liberated human villages, and fomented a rebellion against the Beastmen King, Lord Genome.
Until Kamina died. Oh, wait, shit, was that supposed to happen?
Nope, and it was all Simon's fault. He let his willpower waver, and his soul brother paid the price. After all, he was just a humble digger, at home in the darkness, guided solely by the light of Kamina's spirit.
So his big bro left him with these final words. Have faith in the Simone who believes in you. Damn.
Kamina was the one looking up to him the whole time. It was Simone who found Lagan, Simone who pierced the surface, and Simone who would now lead humanity to victory.
Especially with his gal pal Nia at his side, who helped pull him out of his rut and kick Lord Genome's ass. But victory only lasted 7 years before the anti-spiral attacked.
Unimaginably powerful godlike
Wow.
aliens, the anti-spiral feared humanity's potential, what they dubbed the spiral nemesis.
Remember how Gurren Lagann runs on fighting spirit? Turns out that's just a manifestation of spiral power, an energy that all spiral beings, like humans, have. That's right, the laws of physics run on chutzpah.
Just as the spiral turned inward represents endless obsession and madness, the spiral turned outward spins forever into infinity, the perfect representation of humanity's evolutionary potential.
Potential Simon would use as he led Team Dai Gurren across the multiverse to take the fight to the anti-spiral. And this is when Gurren Lagann gets crazy.
Channeling spiral power lets you constantly adapt to threats, no matter how overwhelming. Simon can create portals to different realities and higher dimensions. He can generate force fields, absorb energy attacks, and even merge Gurren Lagann with
Okay.
bigger and stronger machines.
Creating the Arc Gurren Lagann, which is strong enough to shatter space and time with a punch.
Or the
Okay.
Super Galaxy Gurren Lagann, which
Reality
can fire lasers
breaking.
that are fast enough to hit, and I quote, all time, space, and dimensions, all within a Planck instant.
That's the smallest unit of time physically possible.
Meaning each laser would have to be moving 4.6 times 10 to the 117th power times faster than light.
The editing there was great. I really did
Well, looks
think
like
that
this
editing
wins
was
the award for
great. The way they
fastest
did the
calculated
zeros,
speed feat in
that
our
was very
show's
nice.
history. Congratulations, Gurren Lagann.
Move over, SpongeBob. You've been dethroned. Oh, and the guidebook says they hit an innumerable number of enemies across infinite universes. You literally cannot calculate how fast that is.
But it wasn't enough to escape the anti-spiral's greatest trap, the multiverse labyrinth. An attack that imprisoned Simon in his own unique multiverse, forced to experience an infinite number of alternate realities that controlled his mind, permanently arresting him in a dream world.
Except Simon and his spiral power are just built different. And after being inspired by his bro, Simon absorbed that whole multiverse to escape.
What makes this even more impressive is that this labyrinth was 11-dimensional, meaning Simon absorbed a higher dimensional structure several orders of infinity greater than himself. The jump between dimensions is basically infinite.
Bill
Each
Cipher.
new dimension adds a new direction of space that extends infinitely. Thus,
My head's
creating a
starting to
gap in
hurt.
size and scope.
What?
Oh, we're just getting started. Imagine a two-dimensional drawing interacting with a three-dimensional person.
Okay. That's not too far off from what actually happened.
Because when Simon absorbed the multiverse labyrinth, he merged with every alternate universe version of himself, including an alternate universe Simon who is writing his own alternate universe version of Gurren Lagann. And that author's spiral power made his fictional Simon real. adding another to the mix.
Wait, if
Damn.
every human being has spiral power, you're telling me we can all do this shit?
This all gave our Simone enough spiral power to form the next step in mecha evolution, Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann.
This is when Gurren Lagann gets actually fucking crazy. Like shooting missiles that alter probability so they have a 100% chance of hitting you, or tossing galaxies around like frisbees. Sorry, did I say galaxies? I meant universes.
Simone's power was so immense
Shit.
that he started generating super spiral space, a higher dimension encompassing our own universe.
With it, Simone turns his thoughts into reality, letting him create his mech and all of its weapons in the first place.
Not only does this mean he no longer needs co-pilot,
This is really
he
breaking
can
my
also
mind right
regenerate
now.
any damage done to him or his mech just by willing it back into existence.
Like when Lord Genome used spiral power to survive quantum breakdown, or the time Nia, now the best wife in the universe, used spiral
Nice.
power to constantly regenerate her body from being erased at the informational level for 7 days straight.
Information in physics is essentially the ones and zeros that make up every possible outcome in reality. Nia literally regenerated from the statistical certainty of her own destruction.
If I have spiral power, Wiz, when the fuck is my leg growing back?
When even this was not
Do you
enough
want
for
it to grow back?
anti-spiral,
Yeah, is a
Simone evolved
shotgun.
one more time.
Into Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann!
This mech is so big, its size is literally incalculable. And with a drill somehow even larger than that, Simone and his friends shattered the anti-spiral once and for all.
Hey, cruel indifference of the universe! Meet the indomitable human spirit!
Proving Kamina's words prophetic, that Simone's drill is the drill that would pierce the heavens.
With no more worlds
Okay,
left to conquer,
we get it.
Simone
No need to
chose
drill
walk
it
the
into
earth
us.
For the rest of his days, in service to others.
Ah,
Always
screw
looking
it.
up. For all the lights in the sky are stars, and every star another world of spiral cousins that can live free.
All thanks to a humble digger.
Wow.
The universe is a dangerous place. Should you find yourself
Oh,
face
Rayner.
to face with an interdimensional
That was a
vampire,
lot to go
alien
through,
dictators,
and,
or just one really pissed off cat, you
they
know who to
were
call.
talking about
Green Lantern Corps. They're the Space
resisting
Force, an intergalactic police
destruction
force
on an
founded
informational
billions of
level.
years
That's
ago by blue
impressive.
leprechaun gods.
And the greatest
Ha!
Green Lantern among
Leprechaun.
them was everyone's favorite, Hal Jordan.
You know him. You love him. You might hate him. But you gotta respect the man with a will as unbreakable as Hal's.
Until the day his will broke.
After his hometown got completely obliterated, Hal
Yep.
lost his mind. He rampaged through the core, killing everyone in his path, and absorbed the central power battery, the literal Green Lantern.
Becoming the Emerald Tyrant,
Parallax.
There was only one survivor of Parallax's killing spree, Ganthet. And with what remained of his strength, he gave the last Green Lantern ring in the universe to a human.
The editing for
Kyle
these
Rayner.
matchups
so
have
was Kyle
really
Rayner
gotten
his
better.
indomitable willpower like Hal was?
He was just there. He had no idea what was going on.
DC editorial Jaws
The most
loved
dangerous
Ryan.
magical weapon in existence to figure out on your own. Hey, if Colonel Sanders, Daffy Duck, Space Sweet, and a sentient fox can master it, what's your excuse, Kyle?
The Green Lantern ring can do anything, fulfilling any wish its user desires as though it were a genie from a lamp.
It lets you fire energy blasts, create force fields, affect gravity, turn invisible and intangible, manipulate matter, time travel, warp reality, and erase things from existence.
Think we're exaggerating? Well, consider the time Kyle stretched the very fabric of space to increase the Planck length a billion times over. That's like stretching an inch into a light year.
Lanterns control time and space, letting them fly so fast they can create a Speed Force singularity.
Tapping into the Speed Force requires entering a higher dimension of space, requiring speeds that are not only faster than light, but totally immeasurable. And the rings have an artificial intelligence that operates just as fast.
But is it faster
automatically
than,
protecting its user
Simone?
from danger.
Like the time that Boozer Kilowog survived being erased from existence by the crisis on Infinite Earth.
The ring is fueled by its user's willpower and limited only by their imagination.
While Hal may have had the greatest willpower in the Corps, Kyle's imagination is unmatched. Probably
Yep.
because he's a comic book artist. And we know from this show, they think of some wild shit.
But
Oh,
the Green
yeah.
Lantern's most recognizable
I could
ability
hear a
is
little
their
bit of chat in
constructs,
that one.
Kyle's speciality.
samurai armor, pirate ships, giant dragons, actual working home computers, and his favorite, super fighting robots.
Yep.
Hey, that one looks familiar.
Kyle can make them strong enough to lift the Spectre, who weighs as much as eternity.
Or hold back a 12.3 dimensional Big Bang. Wait,
12 dimensional.
DC's multiverse has 12.3 dimensions? That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
The ring's only downside is that it's limited to 24 hours before needing a recharge.
So it can blow up universes, but it has the battery of an iPhone. Never mind, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Although I'd say Kyle's biggest weakness was Kyle. With great power came no responsibility.
Perhaps a manifestation of Kyle's self-doubt. Any reflection came too late, though, when one of Kyle's villains brutally murdered his girlfriend, Alex, and put her body in a fridge.
Kyle wasn't the only one traumatized.
That was one of the
This
most
moment was
messed
so
up
infamous,
moments in
it started
DC
the trope
Comics.
called fridging.
For how female characters are often sacrificed as mere plot devices to further a male character's development.
So it might surprise you that it happened to Kyle again.
Kyle finally got serious. He became a prominent member of the Justice League, faced off against Hal, and even rebuilt the Green Lantern Corps better than ever.
But little did he know, this torchbearer's greatest journey had only just begun.
In order to save Ganthet from an emotional lobotomy, it's a long story, he had to master all the colors of the emotional electromagnetic spectrum.
Yep.
There are 7 colors, each representing a different emotion. The yellow light of fear lets Kyle manipulate the worst horrors in your mind. The more scared you are of
So
it,
we
the
are going to
stronger
talk
he
about
becomes.
Orange light is fueled by bottomless
the different
caverns, possessing Kyle to
powers
absorb
and
not merely
emotional
his enemies'
spectrum.
attacks, but also their souls.
Red is rage, ripping out Kyle's heart and replacing his blood with napalm. Which sounds like it sucks, but it's metal as hell.
Blue light is powered by hope and allows Kyle to heal wounds, resist mental domination, and supercharge his ring.
Indigo is compassion, reducing his opponent's will to fight and letting him open portals across space, connecting him to others.
The final one was the sapphire light of
Love.
With it, he can trap enemies within crystal matrices and control their minds. But Kyle only mastered it by forgiving himself for Alex's tragic death.
Oh, self-love. I get it. Must be nice. And with their powers combined, he doesn't just make his enemies taste the rainbow.
The lights of the spectrum merged, and Kyle became a White Lantern with total control over the power of life.
Wiz, I cannot think of an attack more useless in a death battle than something that makes you live.
Empowered by the physical embodiment of all life in the DC multiverse, Kyle is vastly more powerful than any other Lantern in existence.
Far stronger than Hal, who could harness the energy of every power battery across the multiverse.
Not only can Kyle instantly heal all wounds, purify corruption, and resurrect the dead, the white light of life is strong enough to go up against threats to all of creation, like the Anti-Monitor.
Okay, so it's not totally useless.
Especially after Kyle visited the Source and acquired the Life Equation. Essentially the source code to reality, the Life Equation is mathematical proof that life is worth living.
With it, Kyle can alter all of reality at a whim, even threatening the new gods like Darkseid.
The Life Equation, like its counterpart,
The anti-life
equation, is a conceptual artifact from a higher reality, originating in a platonic realm that is, in a sense, more real than we are.
So it's not a shock that the equation made Kyle too powerful.
He struggled to control it, and it subconsciously manifested a being composed of his fears and anxieties. Oblivion. Kyle's greatest weakness was still himself.
Kyle spent his whole life struggling with the power that the gods granted him, and throughout it all, he always rose to the occasion, carrying the universe on his back.
But ultimately, the only way to stop power from corrupting is to spread it. So Kyle split the Life Equation into pieces to found his second core, the White Lanterns. And together, they shattered Oblivion, destroying the self-doubt that plagued Kyle once and for all.
Not bad for a comic book geek from LA.
And now he was the one giving out rings of unlimited power to people who weren't sure if they could command it.
So he told them the truth. You can't teach someone how to use such power. You have to learn yourself, making mistakes along the way.
But with the power of life at their command, there's no end to their journey, only endless beginnings.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Hey, remember Beerus versus Sailor Galaxia? No? Well,
So
that's because it was taken
I'm still rooting for Kyle Rayner here, but seeing how his powers operate on a 12th dimensional level as opposed to the 11th dimensional, I think he has more hacks at his disposal. Like he's able to. Oh, I love that. He can mess with Simone in ways other than just sheer brute force, and I think that's going to make a difference. So I'm rooting for Kyle. Go on, Kyle.
Alright, I'm not rusty at all.
Oh.
Dude, Green Lantern Officer Kyle Rayner here. Brink says you've got a Class A galactic super weapon, whatever that is. I'm thinking it's the giant mech. Why don't you hand it over?
Mine, officer.
It's similar setup to Ben versus versus Hal. Yo, Lantern. Oh, Shenron.
Tell me about it.
Spiraling up. Oh wow, summoned like a Superman.
We do the impossible.
See the invisible.
Touch the untouchable.
Break the unbreakable.
If you ain't know,
Now you know.
Wow, there's the source wall.
Simone the Digger. If there's a wall in my way, I'll smash it down.
Oh.
stop fighting. Think about your fear of death, your love of your friends, your compassion for me, your hope for the future. Choose life.
Have faith in the Simon that believes in you.
Okay. He tried messing with him. He tried calming him down. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, I like that. It's like his drill is comprised of the different lantern cores. Infinite.
The super weapon wasn't your mech. It was me. Then, Simone, I'm taking you in brightest day, in blackest night. No evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my
Power.
Green Lantern.
Oh, this is a beautiful episode.
Let's see you grit those teeth. You'd make a good lantern.
Simon of Earth, you have been chosen.
Just who the hell do you think I am?
KO! The guy with the snazzy sunglasses.
When both combatants possess unlimited power, it's hard to judge them by our normal standards. Take speed. Simone can hit an infinite number of targets all at once, and Kyle can fly fast enough to surpass the normal concept of speed itself.
When you control space and time, things like strength and speed kind of become irrelevant.
Yeah.
Instead, let's analyze them through a lens more applicable to beings as absurd as Simone and Kyle. their imagination, their willpower, and their ultimate potential.
Okay.
Imagination. The
Kyle.
boundless things they could conjure to use against the other. Both could think up just about anything the other could, like absorbing each other's attacks, fighting across time, anything.
Simone did have a few attacks that Kyle hasn't encountered, like the probability-altering missiles, but it's likely Kyle could adapt considering his ring could protect against existence being erased across the multiverse.
And in general, Kyle's constructs were a lot more creative than Simone's arsenal, which was mostly drills. Though again, nothing Simone couldn't adapt to with, say, his energy absorption. Imagination is a draw.
That leaves
Okay.
the other main factor for both characters, the origin of their unbelievable might, their willpower.
And that's really gonna be the winning factor here, since it's the source of everything for both of them. Whoever's got the stronger willpower wins.
Both can manipulate reality on a multiversal scale with their willpower, but we can use dimensions to roughly calculate a difference. This might sound absurd for most characters, but it's necessary for beings as beyond the pale as Simone and Kyle.
The multiverse labyrinth that Simone absorbed contained 11 spatial dimensions. That's 1.3 dimensions less than the multiverse Kyle's power can threaten.
And remember, each numbered dimension infinitely surpasses the one below it.
Which meant Kyle's willpower was stronger at a base level. However, that doesn't necessarily mean Kyle gets the edge, because if there's one thing both of these guys are known for, it's that they can always get stronger.
So to determine the limits of their willpower, we first need to understand their full potential.
Simone's whole deal with spiral power is how he can constantly evolve to get stronger. So just because Simone starts off weaker doesn't mean he'll stay that way.
Absorbing the multiverse labyrinth required Simone to leapfrog several orders of infinity in an instant. Simone made himself that much stronger through sheer force of will.
More than enough to close the gap with Kyle, especially since spiral power also lets him regenerate his body down to an informational level. He's never destroyed something that thoroughly before.
Without the ability to easily kill Simone, it was only a matter of time before Kyle's ring ran low on charge. Especially since Simone could likely regenerate for at least a week straight, like Nia did. While Blue Lantern Light could boost Kyle's power, he's never jumped several orders of infinity in strength like Simone has.
And while Kyle could manipulate emotions to reduce Simone's willpower, Simone resisting the labyrinth's mental manipulation meant he could power through anything Kyle threw at him.
I wouldn't call it,
Is,
like...
except for the life equation. It originated from a higher level of reality and would have more than even the odds.
Too bad Kyle couldn't control it. It was just as much a detriment to him as an asset, forcing him to relinquish it to keep from destroying reality and himself.
Compare that to Simone, who merged with a version of himself writing a version of Gurren Lagann, and using spiral power to make that fiction into reality.
A pretty similar level of reality to the life equation, and a level of power Simone had no trouble embracing and mastering by the end of his story. No matter how you look at it, Simone might start weaker, but his peak will always transcend Kyle's. Isn't that how all of Simone's battles usually go anyway? That's Gurren Lagann in a nutshell.
So Simone's incredible potential eclipsed Kyle, which means his willpower was ultimately greater. Kyle may have embodied life itself, but Simone's unstoppable evolutionary potential would shatter even this lantern's light.
I hope Kyle at least dug the fight, because when it comes to death battle losers, he was a dead ringer.
The winner is Simone the Digger.
Okay.
Next time on...
It was a good fight. It was very beautiful. Oh, they're finally doing it!
Subscribe and join as a member to see more Death Battle. Thanks for watching.
But this was a very beautiful matchup. This was very beautiful. As a painter, the use of color was very, very magnificent throughout this whole thing. It was just beautiful, beautifully well done. I'm not surprised that Simone won. They made for a good case, and at least it wasn't like a complete one-side stomp. And I would definitely say that Kyle definitely showcased the more interesting powers here. They showed how creative his potential was in all the different attacks that we got to see. Like in all the references, we got to see like Balrog as a construct. the Luigi vacuum cleaner turned into Shinron. Um, that was a great choice. I don't know what the Red Lantern was supposed to be. I love the golf one when he said four, and he's like, four? And they even did the charge meter. I thought that was very well done. This was a very well done matchup. Do I wish Kyle won? Of course, but I understand how their reasoning that Kyle Rayner sort of does have those limits, whereas Simone always seems to break his limits and always just go one step above and beyond, and that makes a lot of sense. I do enjoy that when they did like the construct of Superman, that the sword was the Green Lantern ring, and the shield was Wonder Woman, and I believe because of her compassion, her love for everybody. I thought that was a very well done touch. There are some moments in the animation that I thought looked a little janky, but I really don't have much to complain about here. I really do think that while Simone won the matchup, I think that Kyle had the better display of powers and was visually more interesting to watch. Just to see all of his stuff on full display, I think was very well done. I still think Robotnik versus Eggman visually was more cohesive than this. It had a more distinct style, I guess you could say. But I do kind of like the sort of hand-drawn element to the characters. Again, the color was so well done, and it makes sense why. Colorful because of the color spectrum that the Kyle has access to. I do kind of like it was a joke on why they started was kind of a joke on or reference to Ben 10 versus Hal Jordan, and this is the only other time DC has lost to a non-Marvel matchup. The other one was Harley Quinn versus Jinx, and but I also really do enjoy the touch where Kyle like gives the ring to Simone, because he would be worthy of carrying on the Lantern legacy or mantle. And but what do you think, dear viewers? Do you think this was a good fight? I really do think this was a good one. I thought the animation was really solid. The editing for the breakdowns, for the analyses, was phenomenal. And I do respect the use, like how they broke down this matchup, not like strength, durability, speed, but like imagination, potential, and willpower. I think that was a very well done twist on the approach to how these characters would win. But what do you think, dear viewers? Did you like this matchup? Did you like my reaction? Please let me know. And are you excited for the next one? We're finally going to get the winning matchup from last season, or that fans voted on last season, which was Wile E. Coyote versus Tom Cat. Tom and Jerry. I mean, Looney Tunes versus Tom and Jerry. So I'm definitely going to be checking that out because I love both characters. I love both cartoons so much. But I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Please take care of yourselves. Be kind to yourselves. And I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Please take care.